we're going to power through this. And I don't say power through this as if it's like an obligation. I say power through this. So chapter 39. And this is the Babylonian envoys. Hey Kuda, how are you? And so chapter 39 says, King of Babylon had recovered. Now remember that Hezekiah was on his deathbed. Isaiah said, you're about to die, get your house in order. Hezekiah went to God and he's like, Lord, give me a few more years. God said, okay, I'll give you 15 more years. And after that, the end is the end. And so this is where we are right now. So to Hezekiah, for he heard that he had been sick and recovered. And Hezekiah was pleased with them and showed them the house of his treasures, the silver and gold, the spices and precious, or in all his dominion that Hezekiah did not. His son has sent him a letter saying, get well soon, or, grateful for your recovery. And Hezekiah said, they came to me from a far country, from Babylon. And he said, and this is Isaiah saying, he said, what have they seen in your house? And Hezekiah said, they have seen all that is in my house. There is nothing among my treasures when all that is in your house and what your fathers have accumulated until this day shall be carried to Babylon. Nothing will descend from you will beget, and they will be eunuchs in the palace of the king of Babylon. So if you don't understand a eunuch is basically a male that is castrated so they cannot reproduce, and they castrate them so that they can be around women, so they don't have to worry about these women that are these men being sexually aroused or having some sort of effect on these women. But for some reason, effeminate men seem to be more perverted than those that are not. And so Hezekiah said to Isaiah, the word of the Lord which you have spoken is good, for he said, at least there will be some peace and truth in my days. Some sort of generosity to you, it does not mean that they have your best interest in hand, because these people came, they sent the letter, get well soon, we heard that you were sick, get well, we're grateful that you're getting well. And now he went, he's like, yeah, I'm getting well, and by the way, look at everything that I own. This is my routing number, this is my bank account number, this is that, this is where I keep my spices, this is where I keep my women, this is where I keep all these things. We often find ourselves in positions where we regret it because we should have just kept our mouth shut. Okay, chapter 40. God's people are comforted. Comfort, yes, comfort my pendant, that her iniquity is pardoned, for she has received from the Lord's hand double for all her sins. For she has received from the Lord's hand double for all her sins, as if one wasn't enough. She received double for all her sins. The voice of one crying in the wilderness, prepare the way for the Lord. Make straight in the desert a highway for our God. Every valley shall be exalted, and every mountain and hill brought low. The crooked places shall be made straight, and the rough places smooth. The glory of the Lord has spoken. The voice said, cry out. And he said, what shall I cry? All flesh is grass, and all its loveliness is like the flower of the field. Because of the breath of the Lord blows upon it, surely the people are grass. They bring up good tidings. Get strength. Lift it up, but be not afraid. Say to the cities of Judah, behold your God. Behold, the Lord God shall come with a strong hand, and his arm shall rule for him. Behold, his reward is with him, and his work before him. He will feed his flock like a shepherd, and lead those who are with young. Who has measured the waters in the hollow of his hand, measured heaven with a span, and calculated the dust of the earth in a measure? The Spirit of the Lord, or as hit him, and taught him in the path of justice? Who taught him knowledge, and showed him the way of understanding? Behold, the nations are as a drop in a bucket, and are counted as small dust on the scales. Look, he lifts up isles, are as nothing, and they are counted by him less than nothing and worthless. To whom then will you liken God? Or what likeness will you compare to him? The workman molds as image. The goldsmith overspread it with gold, and the silversmith casts silver chains. Whoever is too impoverished for such a contribution, choose a tree that will not rot. He heard. Has it not been told you from the beginning? Sits above the circle of the earth, and its inhabitants are like grasshoppers, who stretches out the heavens like a curtain, and spreads them out like a tent to dwell in. He brings the princes to nothing. He makes the judges of the earth useless. Scarcely shall they be planted, will also blow on them, and they will wither, and the whirlwind will take them away with stubble. To whom then will you liken me? These things. Who brings out their host by number? He calls them by name, by the greatness of his might and the greatness of his power. Not one is missing. Why do you say, O Jacob, and speak, O Israel? My way is hidden from the Lord, and my just claim is passed over by my God. Have you not known? Have you not heard? The everlasting God, the Lord, the creator of the end of the earth, weak, and to those who have no might he increases strength. Even the youth shall faint and be weary, but those who wait on the Lord shall. And we are in chapter 41. And this is Israel's assurity of God's help. And he says, keep silence before me, O coastlands. And keep note here, he says coastlands. He says, keep silence before me, O coastlands. Together for judgment. Who raised up one from the east? Who in righteousness called him to his feet? Who gave the nation before him and made him rule over kings? Who gave them as the dust to his sword, as driven stubble to his bow? Who pursued them and passed safely by the way that he had gone with his feet? He had not gone with his feet. Who had performed and done it? Calling the generations from the beginning, I, the Lord, am the first, and with the last I am he. The coastlands saw it and feared it. The ends of the earth were afraid. They drew near and came. Everyone helped his neighbor and said to his brother, be of good courage, saying, it is ready for the soldering. Then he fastened it with pegs, that it might not totter. But you, Israel, are my servant, Jacob, whom I have chosen, the descendants of Abraham, my friend. You, whom I have taken from the ends of the earth and called from its farthest regions, and said to you, you are my servant, I have chosen you and have not cast you away. Fear not, for I am with you. Be not dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. Behold, all those who were incensed against you, and this is right here powerful. He says, behold, all those who insist against you shall be ashamed and disgraced. And some translations say, all who live with you shall perish. You shall seek them, but you will not find them. Those who contend with you, those who war against you shall be saying to you, fear not, I will help you. And keep that in mind because that is Isaiah 41:11. And that is powerful. Anytime you feel like you're going through something, keep mind of that. You men of Israel, I will help you, says the Lord. Sledge with sharp teeth. You shall thresh the mountain and beat them small, and make the hills like chaff. You shall winnow them, the wind shall carry them away, and the whirlwind shall scatter them. You shall rejoice in the Lord and glory in the Holy One of Israel. The poor and needy seek water, but there is none. Their tongues fail for thirst. I, the Lord, will hear them. So in desolate heights and fountains in the midst of the valleys, I will make the wilderness a pool of water and the dry land springs of water. I will plant in the wilderness the cedar, cypress tree, and the pine, and the box salt and the box tree together. They may that they may see and know and consider, and this is the futility of idols, Jacob. Let them bring forth and show us what will happen. Let them show the former things what they were, that we may consider them and know the latter end of them, or declare to us things to come. Show the things that are to come hereafter, that we may know that you are gods. Yes, you do good or do evil, that we may be dismayed and see it together. Indeed, you are nothing, and your work is nothing. He who chooses you is an abomination. This is him talking to idols. I have raised up one from the north, and he shall come from the rising of the sun, and he shall call on my name, and he shall come in former times, that we may say, he hears your words. The first time I said to Zion, look, there they are, and I will give to Jerusalem one who brings good tidings, for are all worthless. Their works are nothing. Their molded images are wind and confusion. And I think chapters 39, 40, and 40. And tomorrow we'll talk about the servant of the Lord. I think that's a good left in the book of Isaiah. And then we are on to Jeremiah. which is equally as good. 40 and 40. One of the things I was thinking about God the Father, because we know that God is our comes in, because God is both like we embody all of the attributes of God. We are created in His image. Now, when we're created in His image, we're created to be loving, nurturing, caring. You know, but God has other as women. We don't typically nurture their children, but they're great providers, and so it's divided. So when we think of God the Father, we think of all the different attributes of, and I was thinking this is just something I'm just thinking out loud and I'm sharing a thought that I had earlier. I don't want to say feminine and negative and masculine attributes because that makes it sound more like, you know, like God and goddesses and divine. Being both male and female, God has all of those attributes, but He has divided it amongst us. So it's not that God is both like man and woman or God and goddess. It's nothing divided His attributes among us. So He's not divided, but we are divided. And His role is so massive that He's divided both men and women to encompass both of those. So women being nurturing, that aspect of it, and men being providers. And that's just something that I was actually just kind of thinking about earlier as I was reading through this. And I just kept saying, like, He will do this, He will do that. And we also see this whenever we look at, not to get too far off, but we look at Disney now. Disney, that's very occultic. A lot of Disney shows are very much on par with that. But you notice all of it. We talked about this before, but you notice a lot of the Disney movies, Cinderella, Ariel, The Little Mermaid, almost I'd say 95% of them come from single father households. All that she had no mother. She had a wicked stepmother. Now, if they do have a mother, the mother is always wicked. It's always like a wicked stepmother, you know. But either the princess or the child has no mother, or if she does have a mother, it's a wicked stepmother. And so it's showing that like the father is like this encompassing, all loving, nurturing, you know, just just I don't want to say like godlike, but this is the embodiment that they're trying to project in these different Disney shows. Um, when we look at it from that perspective. And so the more I thought about that, and thinking how they try to, and I don't want to say they're trying to embody that, but the father, and most of these instances, so when we think of Belle from Beauty and the Beast, her father he tried his best to be both nurturing and a provider. He tried to be all encompassing. We see that in a lot of these fathers. They do their best to be like, to fit this bill. He's made us in His image, and he's divided humans, man and woman. Woman is typically more nurturing. She feeds, she takes care of, encompassing. And so, anyway, not to get onto a tangent, that's just something I thought of earlier. And I appreciate the few of you guys that did come on today. I think he's already gone, but I think he's already gone by the day. But anyway, so I'm gonna let you guys go. I pray that God continues to watch over you. He guides you, guards you, protects you, leads you, and that you continue are able to stand according to Ephesians 6 by putting on the full armor of God. So I pray for you guys. I pray He continues to watch over you, and I will see you guys tomorrow, 7 o'clock. Blessings, everybody. Okay, it is hot. Why is it doing this? What is going on with this? Like, I have no freaking clue what's going on here.